Hi guys, Analamuk here, and today we are going to be continuing reading Kill Me Softly by Sarah Cross. We're going to be on chapter 4. So, I held her in my hands and then I took it away. Sorry. I held her life in my hands and then I took it away from her. Chapter 4. Gingerbread House was a Kitsuki cafe housed in a cottage that had been decorated with candy. The window frames were red and white striped and lacquered strawberry squares, butterscotch medallions, and rainbow swirl lollipops and peppermint stuck to the walls. The early morning crowd was trickling in, a mix of solo diners, couples, and cops. A dozen girls in party dresses walked barefoot through the parking lot, carrying their worn-out shoes like they'd spent the night clubbing and were reluctant to go home. A party of middle-aged tourists dressed in t-shirts that bore the name of a lighthouse they'd visited were turned away at the door by a woman in a Bavarian barmaid costume with the explanation that they needed a reservation. Viv didn't need the same same resistance. She claimed an 8-person table in the middle of the cramped cafe, then took out her phone and started inviting people. A waitress hustled over to hand out menus and poured them all cups of sludgy black coffee. Mira found herself seated near the end of the table next to Blue and across from Freddie. She had a moment in the car cramped in the back seat with people she barely knew when the situation had overwhelmed her. She'd felt a sudden burst of loneliness and helplessness, despair that she wouldn't find her parents' graves after all, and hot tears had slipped down her cheeks. She'd quickly turned towards the window and wiped them away. She didn't think anyone had noticed she was upset, and she didn't want them to. The pancakes are really good here, Freddie told her. So are the waffles. Mira scanned the menu. She tried to keep her voice light. I'm looking for freedom with a side of restraining order, but everything just comes with bacon. The restraining order costs extra, Blue said, tearing open 2 sugar packets and dumping them into his coffee. No substitutions. That sucks. I guess I'll go with the bacon, Mira said. But the others, while the others ordered, Blue brought his coffee cup to his lips and asked quietly, "Why were you crying before? Were you scared?" Mira shook her head, not sure what to say. No, I was thinking about something that makes me sad. Okay, I wanted to make sure we didn't scare you. You weren't thinking about that when you broke into my room. Blue shrugged, looking guilty. I didn't want to scare you then, but only warn you. I never wanted to make you cry, and that takes things to a different place. What place? A place where I'm hurting people, not helping them. So you still think you're helping me, whether you know it or not. And then he went quiet, shifted his attention to the waitress, laughed at some jokes Viv made. He stood up to wave at a big barrel-chested guy who was heading towards them. The guy looked like he hadn't gone to bed yet. He wore a wrinkled Hawaiian t-shirt and had lipstick print marks on his neck in 2 different colors. His shaggy golden hair tangled around his face, and he managed to look smug despite his dishevelment. That's Raph, Freddie said. He's the one who broke your door down. He would have come in with us, but he had to escort some ladies home. Mira nodded, eyeing Raph warily. He had one strike against him, and she had a feeling there would be more. Raph flopped down next to Viv and slung his arms around the back of her chair, then proceeded to peer down her shirt. Viv still doesn't have any boobs, he announced. Henley smashed his fist against the table, rattling the plates and silverware. Then he muttered something about leaving before he killed someone and left the cafe. Viv sighed. Stop talking about my boobs, jackass. Raph, please show some manners, Freddie said. At least pretend to have them. Raph ignored them both. You lost the puberty lottery, Viv. Get your dad to buy you a pair. The same set your stepmom has. Viv sipped her coke, her eyes hooded and dismissive, like she was used to this. You know, if I had to break your curse, I would kill myself. I would too. I need something to feel up if I'm fated to be stuck with one girl for the rest of my life. There are ladies present, Freddie said, his silver voice taking on a sharp edge. Finally, Blue threw a piece of toast at Raph. Keep her curse talk to yourself, Wilder. Raph snatched the toast off his lap, folded it into a taco, and ate it in 2 bites. You don't get to complain, Raph said with a mouthful, jabbing a meaty finger at Blue. That's one problem you'll never have being stuck with one girl. You can have as many as you want. Just keep going on to the next. Blue glared at him coldly, steadily, with genuine loathing. Then another one of their friends arrived, diverting their attention and keeping Blue and Raph from fighting. What's all this curse talk? Mira murmured to Freddie. Just a joke, Freddie said, flashing an unconvincing smile. Mira pointed at him. It was obvious pouted at him. It was obvious there was something he wasn't telling. The new girl took a seat at the foot of the table between Mira and Freddie. When Mira looked at her, really looked at her, she forgot why she'd been pouting at Freddie in the first place. The new girl was the most beautiful girl Mira had ever seen. Glossy, straight, black hair hung to her waist. Her doe eyes were long lashed, so dark they were almost black. Her skin gleamed like silk. Her face was lovely, so lovely that just looking at her made her happy. And she even smelled pretty, like honeysuckle. Mira is definitely goddamn bisexual. Just saying. There was no butterflies floating around her head, but there should have been. Freddie introduced them. Mira, this is Miss Layla Fan. Layla, meet Mira. Hi, Layla. Layla. Bleh. Hi, Layla said. Her voice was gentle, sweet, but there was something fierce in her expression when she looked at Raph. You don't want to sit by me, Raph called to her with a grin. No, I don't, Layla said. I wouldn't sit by you if every other seat in the room was on fire. Ouch, Raph winced, then rebounded with a sleazy smile. That would hurt me if I believed it. You know you're curious to go for a ride. About as curious as I am to get syphilis, Layla snapped. He meant a ride in his car, Freddie clarified for Mira, looking like he desperately hoped she was dumb enough to believe him. His car has syphilis? Mira asked, feigning shock. When Freddie blushed, she said, I know that's not what he meant. Freddie nodded abashed and rubbed his hands over his face. You're right, I'm sorry you had to hear that. He'll be reformed eventually. He is such a tool, Layla muttered. Her hand was trembling against the table. I would love to just shoot him with a hunting rifle when his transformation day finally comes. Transformation day? Mira prompted. Layla's big dark eyes blinked at Mira as she seemed to remember where she was. Oh, nothing. Never mind. Hello, I forgot I don't know you. I exaggerate a lot. I don't even own a rifle. You can get one at Walmart, Viv said. Charge it on my card. I'll use my coma as an alibi. Mira focused on eating her pancakes, even though she was starting to feel sick. What was wrong with these people? Was everyone insane? Next to her, Blue seemed edgy. He was breaking his bacon into pieces. His fingertips glistened with grease. I'm starting to think it was a mistake to introduce you to the whole gang, he said. Raph was still hitting on Layla. Layla was fighting with him, insisting that fairies didn't turn good people into monsters that they just exposed. Their monstrousness that was already there, and Freddie was doing his best to play peacemaker or etiquette coach from 1850, or whatever he thought he was doing. Henley was watching the group from outside, leaning against the window, smoking a cigarette. Viv was sawing into an apple tart with a masochistic grin on her face. No wonder you're such a freak, Mira said finally. Oh yeah, I learned it from watching them, Blue said with a faint smile. I want you to know, Mira said, that whatever your intentions are, even if you think they're good, I didn't travel all the way here to be shuttled around and babysat by crazy people. There are things I need to do here. I intend to do them. Fine, just stay away from our casino. No, she said. Blue turned fully towards her, then grabbed her wrist hard, like he was trying to intimidate her, and she flung her syrup-sticky butter knife at him and twisted free from his grip, causing a scene, of course. Sometimes you had to. She sprang to her feet. Don't tell me what to do, and don't manhandle me unless you want to be dismembered. This is your last warning. Will you keep your voice down? Blue hissed. No, I won't, she said, getting louder on purpose. There was a syrup stain on the size of a shape of a gash on Blue's chest. People were staring at them, but oddly enough, no one seemed all that surprised by her outburst, and she didn't care if they were. Anger blended with the sugar in her body and made her feel nauseous. She just wanted to go. She grabbed her bag and for the second time in 2 days, stormed out. Always popular with the girls, Blue, Viv said. Mira heard a chair being pushed back like someone was about to chase after her, and then Blue's voice saying, "Forget it, Freddie." "But she's upset," Freddie said. "She's a big girl. Let her play with fire if she wants to." "Nice ass," Raph said. And then the door swung shut behind her, mercifully silencing the peanut gallery, and Mira was plodding through the hot parking lot, her flip-flops squishing like they were about to melt on the steaming asphalt. Henley looked up at her approach. "Need a ride?" he asked. He didn't look particularly enthused about giving her one. "No," she said, "but thanks. Have fun with the crazies." He snorted. I wouldn't call it fun. I was being sarcastic. Henley nodded, raising his cigarette to his lips, and she set off towards the dream. Thanks for listening to Chapter 4 of Kill Me Softly by Sarah Cross. Please check out all of the links down below, especially our Patreon and our Instagram. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell as well as the like button if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll meet out. Peace.